All right, this is the Capital Improvement Committee meeting of September 25th, and we will start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Everybody should have the minutes of our last meeting in front of you, hopefully. Yes. I don't know if you've had a chance to look through them.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Before we get to the next item, I just wanted to kind of do a little bit of a recap of what's going on. And I'd like to ask Rich, what do we have left here? Is this summary statement of what we purchased and what we owe on?
Right, and not necessarily what we've authorized. There's a quick summary. It lists out the remount of the ambulance, 3 cruiser purchases, a highway paver, the fire station. What's not on there is the sign we've paid cash for or intend to pay cash for, so there's no dollars owed to anyone. It's sitting in an account. If we go, we have general fund, date, article number, purpose, total amount authorized, total amount issued. It's when we get to the second line there where we see we have money out for 2 out of the 3 police cruisers, 1 last year, 1 this year. By the end of fiscal 2018, both will be paid off. We'll have authorization for 1 more. Highway paver, everything is out. I'm getting ahead of myself. To the column of amount remaining, we have an FY 18, 19, 20, and 21. Right now, we have the fiscal year 18 pay down, which is in my budget, treasurer collector's budget. We would need a similar dollar amount for the 19. Once we get to 20 and 21, we just have those 2, and those are just principal amount pay downs. We don't know what the interest is going to be. The interest for 18 has been calculated out and is sitting in my budget. The presumption, for the most part, it's going to be 1-2%, something like that. So a little bit is going to need to be on there just for the planning purposes. We've got 2 big years for pay downs. The bottom line, the fire station, we have money out. We've only spent a little bit, but we haven't borrowed all that's been authorized. We have a $500,000 out. That's sort of pre-construction costs. There's another $600,000 that we can borrow. Ultimately, that's way ahead of us. I would imagine that's going to fall off the capital improvement. It'll just be in my budget as far as pay downs, in that it is debt excluded. So that's something that's on the books but off the books, in that it's raised separately through the DE1 when the assessors go through and set their tax rate. Questions, thoughts?
So we anticipate for fiscal year 18 of having a $53,000 balance
Nope.
remaining, or
Nope.
106?
If you go across the top line, remount ambulance, 159.3 was authorized.
Yeah.
In June, we made a pay down, so roughly 1/3 was paid.
Yeah.
So we have 2 more 1/3 pay downs.
Okay.
For a total of 106.2, and those would be the next 2.
And the police cruisers, where
Right.
we got 2 on there.
Right. It's odd because we started the process mid-year on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the way things are going to go through, we will pay down the first one and the second one in the second year, and then the third year we'll borrow, purchase, and pay down all in one.
We're going to be down to 20,000 on the paver?
Paver would be for $20,000 pay downs.
Okay.
If for some reason you wanted to split it into halves or thirds, or pay it all down, it's up to you. Good round number.
Okay. Good. The only other question I had would be for Greg. Any anticipation of free cash going into the supplemental budget? Has that been certified yet, or?
No, it hasn't, but if you look at the past 3 years' history, it's been in the range of about 420. So I would expect that going forward, the last 3 years have ranged somewhere on the low side, about 400, and on the high side, about 470. But average about 420, and I would imagine that's where we would be going forward. Has not been certified, and typically doesn't get certified until just prior to town meeting. But I would ask you to go ahead and make your recommendations, and more importantly, if there are requests that you wish to prioritize, I think that's probably the most important thing.
Awesome. All right, thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda would be Deb Thibodeau. She's got some information on this new computer system. Should we bypass that for now, or move that to the, we have both chiefs here. Anybody want to do that, or do you want to discuss this now?
Well,
I don't know if she's on her way or not, or?
she's not on her way, but at 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and that there's a selectmen's meeting at 6:30, so.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick look at this. Does everybody have the proposal in front of them for the new computer system?
Yep.
Anybody have any comment? Did everybody get a chance to read this? Go through it? This is just, looks like all combined to redo it. What is it? It's $28,485.
Right.
Is this the only company that we had price this out?
They're the ones that we've done business with in the past, and I'm guessing, given the amount, we'll need to go out and seek additional proposals.
Anybody have any questions on any of this? Any comments?
The only question I had was on the timetable, indicates phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is that within the same calendar year, fiscal year, or are those each individual years, or how's that
phase
feel?
one
It's really not clear in terms of what the timing is. I would imagine that all of this can be accomplished within a single calendar year or fiscal year.
I guess my question would be, if that were the same fiscal year, then the 28 and whatever it was is going to be a single payment, not
Yeah, that's the way
added over the number of years.
that's the way I would envision it.
Okay.
You can see the equipment is up to 8 years old, so I think Deb's concern is this stuff is gonna age out and then be more prone to failure, and eventually we'll end up paying more in repair costs.
And if you don't switch to the new Microsoft, nothing kind of loads up, right? I'm not a tech wizard, so.
Nor am I.
But I also think for security reasons, the older equipment is just going to be more prone to other things, I thought.
Well, I will say that working with Debbie within the emergency management area of the community, she's very good at planning for what the next phase will be as far as
Right.
storage, protection, and also what our next phase would be for backup systems. If this is going to be her recommendation, it's not something that she takes lightly. She's studied it, she's comfortable with it.
I mean, I've tried to look at some of this stuff that's listed, I think, on the page, second to the last page, and try to get a little bit of pricing. It looks, I mean, the pricing looks pretty good. I mean, of course, I'm a retailer trying to buy one, but when you're trying to buy them in bulk like this, obviously you get a deal, but the prices seem very, very good. Don, you're a computer wizard. Oh. Take a look.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, there you go, one right there.
Just to add, the MIS and accountant is kind of the clearinghouse for all IT requests.
Right.
So we don't have people out there buying laser printers or whatever on their own.
Right.
Everything gets consolidated through this department. Someone wants to purchase a laptop or whatever, it gets coordinated to make sure everything is compatible.
Right. Okay. Mark, any? Oh, it looks nice. So, How do you want to go forward with this? Are we going to look for additional proposals because of the amount? Come back with this?
I'd be under the assumption we'd grant a $26,000 okay, and then we'd have the chief procurement officer go through and get two similar bids, and we'd be where we needed to be.
I don't think you're going to get it cheaper than that for what's...
Which is even better. So I'm thinking this is our ballpark number, give or take.
28,485.
Oh, I'm sorry. I even have my glasses on.
Yeah, 20, yep, that's the amount, and that includes the labor costs with installation of the server. I think it's very reasonable.
So we authorized 29,000 similar, you know, or round it up to
You know...
28.5?
Rich.
I mean, you know how we always have, every time we go out to buy something along the line changes, we gotta come back and reauthorize it.
Reauthorize the $1.81?
Right, exactly. I'm thinking, you know, an even round number of 30,000 would be appropriate just to kind of, I mean, you're only talking $1,500 of difference there.
Yeah.
So, just,
Can we recommend
Yeah.
to appropriate a greater dollar amount than what's requested?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
yeah.
So if somebody wants to make a motion for that?
Somebody
Not that
make
I'm the chair.
I'll make the motion. Or to appropriate, will we go with a $30,000, up to $30,000 for the MIS proposal?
Happy to second that.
All right, so the motion is appropriate up to $30,000 for the MIS. Is there any, we got a second, is there any discussion on that?
That's with two similar bids, you said?
We'd get
Right.
3 total,
Right.
so 2 additional.
And the best out of the three?
Right,
Okay.
if we get a better bid than that, then obviously you go with the...
But not to
better
exceed the
bid,
30
but-
grand.
But there's one thing you need to question too is, you've been with this company for quite a long time. They know your system. They're going to give you the
Exactly.
best deal. They're going to give you the best service.
Right,
So this is probably a very good starting point.
excellent.
Okay.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we'll put we'll have a warrant article for 30,000 for that, put on supplemental budget. All right, we have the police department, chief.
Ladies and gentlemen, just we talked about before, the committee's already approved the purchase of the search with the... We ran into one snag about a month ago. One of our police was in an accident and has been totaled. So, we're going to have to work to try to replace that. So we're still in the process of determining what insurance money's coming back for it, what we can salvage and things of that nature. I plan to submit a warrant article to try to fund whatever the balance is. Still trying to determine what we're going to get back to the insurance company. I don't know if it's replacement cost, if it's three-quarter value, half value, market value. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do at this point. But I plan to submit an article, probably might be in the range of $15,000, or up to $15,000 just to cover that cost of replacing that.
Which car was that, chief? Was it a newer one, or?
It's about 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, a Cruiser 301, at about 90,000 miles.
Well, that was in for rotation anyway, or?
It would have been coming up.
Come out in a couple more years?
Another couple of years, but not gonna give us anything else anymore, so. But they just want to bring it to the committee's attention, their approval at some point. So.
Okay.
Chief, you anticipate up to 15,000?
Yeah, I'm still hoping to get that amount as far as, I know the total cost of the vehicle is gonna be probably somewhere in the mid-35,000 range. That's with transferring a lot of the equipment over and everything else that we can salvage from that car. But I'm still waiting to determine what the difference is from the insurance company.
Who transfers the equipment? Would be MHQ?
We've already had the car towed up there by them, we had it ready to go, swap out equipment, whatever it is.
So, you're looking to get a brand-new one? Is that,
Well, we hope to get a new one, but, you know, whether it could be left over or whatever it might be, I'm not sure.
okay,
But I guess it depends on whether they should
Right.
cover that,
okay.
But at this point, if we get a new vehicle, basically, it's like replacing nothing. You know, lose one and then you bring one into the next.
When do you expect to have a word back as to how much you're gonna have?
I'm hoping this week. I was in conversation with the insurance company last week, and they were trying to determine the final numbers.
Right.
So it's going to determine what that is, we'll know what the overall cost is.
Okay. Do we, are we gonna need, if we're gonna buy a new one with that, we're gonna need an article for that too, right? I'm assuming we need an article for a new one. Depending on what we buy,
The
right?
article would be, you know, in whatever the, it's going to be about the value of the amount that we,
Right.
I think the committee authorized the purchase, the board of selectmen authorized.
Right.
The one article would just be for
The differential between,
Yeah, I mean, the money-wise would just be the difference. But as far as what you're buying, I think we'd have to get something off of that sheet there, whatever you buy. Whether you're buying an SUV or you're buying a, you know, or anything like that, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're getting a quote and everything like that for,
Okay, awesome, thank you. Any questions?
We want to have a vote?
Well, we don't know what we're getting yet.
Plus, we need 20,000.
We don't know what, I mean, it could be anything that depends on what,
We should be submitting all the requests for the fall town meeting unless you're going to request it in the spring.
no, I
That's
don't,
why I'm saying we should take a cursory vote to do that, to make sure that everything is thumbs up, as much as it's a replacement.
yeah, but it could be a $35,000 vehicle, it could be a $45,000, we don't know. I mean,
I think the only thing that we're looking at is, I'm not sure how the procedure goes from the case perspective. If the purchase of it, getting reimbursed with the insurance company for whatever the value is. So for the additional, insurance company, which is the cost of the car, so. I don't know if that is $20,000 threshold that the committee has, or we have to vote on it.
I think we have to vote on that. Right. Like I say, I don't think, it doesn't matter what the funding is, I think it's basically the total purchase price of the vehicle, so no, so I think we do have to do that. But, I mean, we can, we don't run up against a 30-day rule, now that we know that it's coming.
Got to try to sandwich in another meeting before the town meeting.
Well, if we're gonna get a new police car, I think we should.
We'll need an update.
Yeah, we'll need it, I
Okay.
mean, we're only talking a week, and if we can get a proposal for,
Meet us tonight at the meeting?
I would not want to do that. Everything,
that's- you never know.
things get crazy between 6 and 7. There's 101 things to do, and if we can put this to bed, if you said you were going to buy this make, this model, brand new, dollar amount of X, and you're looking for funding less the insurance recovery amount, I think that's a reasonable vote.
you want to cap that?
There's a reasonable, off the top of your head, you know that a brand-new, you've looked at a couple of models, here it is, it's a $35,000, $40,000, $45,000 item that you're looking to buy, or what do you,
With the transfer of equipment and everything now, the ballpark figure I have is about $38,000.
okay,
When I bought a brand new one, it's about 43, but then. Roughly the ballpark of 38,000, so I guess you could say
Up to that amount,
up to $38,000,
less
plus the.
insurance.
well, the last three, we each set at 45, right?
Yeah, the difference though is that with this one, like, for example, we bought certain things like, boxes in the back, cages, different things that we can actually transfer over. Part of the problem we had before, was looking at all these new SUVs, you had to get the equipment that fits those cars, and they wanted to change. So some of the equipment, like lights and things like that, that are in these cars now, there's no salvage, we
Right.
can transfer into that car.
So then we would need a motion to approve up to a $38,000 purchase.
So moved. With the
You want-
difference, the funding being the difference from the insurance recovery to the purchase price.
Couldn't say it myself.
Okay. Did you get that, Michelle?
Anything but poetic, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
All right, any other discussion on that? Michelle, can you read that motion back to me real quick?
It's funding being the difference of the insurance, let me see,
The purchase of a $38,000.
$38,000 for a new cruiser.
Yep.
Minus the insurance amount. The funding being the difference of the insurance funding minus the difference or something like that.
Purchase price less insurance recovery
Less
Equals funding.
insurance.
equals the requested funding from the Capital Improvement Committee.
Funding, okay. Purchase price minus less the insurance recovery of the funding of this capital improvement.
Chief, your total cost is going to include the monies that are needed to remove and strip that total cruiser and reinstall everything? Okay.
I have one more question. What about from the cruiser funds?
There is some money in there, but again, we're gonna have to determine what would be, what's useful, what's not useful.
So that might be included as well?
It could be, I guess it's just gonna be whatever source of funding would be.
Okay.
I'll submit it as a free cash purchase for now, and we'll adjust it.
You know how much more funding there's in that account?
I haven't looked at it lately, not pretty revolving fund. I haven't looked at that lately. But if I had to guess, it's probably around 7,000.
Okay. Not enough to get you there. No.
Any other questions? I guess we get the motion, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Dan, come up. Hello.
Good evening.
It was only a year ago? Seems like we took a vote like 3 years ago for that thing.
The cost is $48,500. That's the light duty one time.
Right.
Mhm. As far as the highway department's listing, this year we talked about looking at a street sweeper
Mm-hmm.
for $20,000. We're not gonna go with some money, the one we have, and put that in the back burner for now. However, we would like to put in for a heavy duty one time, stuff for our salt. That would be priced at $1998 when we currently have. That cost is $65,500. I can get you a figure on that.
Can you,
Is
one
that-
more time?
65,500.
Is that the dump truck you're looking for that you had for fiscal year '20?
Yes.
What about the loader? You didn't
Loader, we can hold off on that.
hold off on the loader, so push.
It's not a daily thing, let's say,
So
probably
the-
4 times out of 5.
Now, did you want to submit that for the dump truck? You want to submit that for the fall, for this? Did you have a printout or anything?
I went off the one we had 2 years ago, 65,500.
Right. So-
Stayed good, nothing really changed so much, you know, paperwork for it.
Yeah, if I can just get a copy of that, but I know you did submit that once, okay. Any questions?
No.
So I'm just gonna move that forward. So we got a 48.5 and then the 65.5. Any questions for Danny or anything like that? No.
Danny typically gets good money from vehicles.
Well,
No.
last one time we got rid of was the old 1994 Rambo, so we converted over to a one ton.
Not much left but scrap when you're done with it.
Yeah. We try to keep it over the
That you do.
We have a motion to approve this, or we want to make a motion?
I'll motion to allocate up to 65.5 for the purchase of a new heavy-duty one-ton dump truck for the highway department.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that?
Actually, I do. Before we go, that's going to include the cost of radios, lighting, everything, correct? Not just the truck?
If there's anything we'll have to, we'll get that money from
Okay,
a lot of the existing ones, the lights or.
Yep. okay.
That's it. The only thing is if you can get me a copy of that one from 2 years ago. So, yeah, and I'll make sure everybody has a copy of that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right. Thanks, Nick. All right. So that's 2 for the highway department. Now we're gonna submit. All right, Mr. Carmignani, give us an update on the sign.
We want to take one out of order. We have the water sewer superintendent here. So we'll hit 4 department heads right in a row. Come on down.
Evening.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Where did you get the 27 grand? Is that? I mean, okay, is that, does that include a trade or something, or is that just a, that's?
That's just the bare bones pickup truck, but I said, I gotta bring this up in front of my board, see which way they want to go.
Okay,
You know, you guys asked for this,
so up to 27?
well, that's bare bone.
Okay,
So I don't know if we're gonna get a full-size pickup truck or a small pickup truck.
okay,
But this is, there's no power windows, there's nothing.
Right. yeah,
It's bare bone.
yeah, I mean, all right. What do you plan on doing with the 06?
I'm trying to get it inspected right now, because I don't think I can.
Okay,
You know, every single light on it is on the dash, except the battery. ABS, airbags, everything's on this truck.
okay. I was gonna say, I can get it inspected for you, but I'm not gonna get it today.
I was going to say, Dan's going to get it in 6 months.
Didn't you just take a picture of the sign with your Polaroid? No, it's an old trick. Okay, and it's something for the, so you want that this year?
Yes.
For this fix. Okay, and what about the sewer department? You get another truck there?
Yeah, the sewer department's work truck right now. There's an 03 duty body crane, they don't put 110,000 miles on it, the crane can only pick up 2,000 pounds.
Yep.
When you look down the road where they at, they can't pick up motors that can't get out of the road, Lakeview Ave, and really pick up pieces. So the truck is too small for the job. So right now we're balling Webster's. We're in an emergency, what the hazard, we can't do it.
Right.
So this truck is here to take care of the truck.
Okay. And that's about 69?
Yes.
69.4, okay.
Is that enough? Is it big enough, strong enough? You need to go the next size up, or?
That'll do it. Does anybody have any questions for either one of these 2 trucks, or?
No.
No questions? And then next year for the water department, you're gonna replace the 2003?
Right.
Okay.
I still gotta bring this in front of the board, and they gotta decide.
Oh, yeah,
where
right.
they're gonna go.
Okay.
So next Wednesday, when does the warrant have to be in?
Friday the 6th. 12 noon.
Any other questions? I just want to say I appreciate you bringing this up to us. I know it's been some time since, I think back when these 2 trucks were bought, we didn't even have a capital improvement
I've
committee.
been superintendent for 30 years.
Right, this is, right, exactly. So we do appreciate that. At least we get an idea of what's, even though,
For the next 5 years, I can say the Mason Road project, the water main broke 4 times in the last 2 years. Now, we're trying to get rid of, take care of the interior system, and the same thing with sewer department.
Right.
These stations are so old, nothing's been done.
right, and everything's
We gotta take care of those.
excellent.
Before we even start thinking about extending this main.
Okay. Like I say, in the past, that the water and sewer hasn't really come in front of the capital improvement committee. So I do want to say thank you for at least doing this for us. I know in the bylaws, really, they were kind of accepted. I don't understand why it was ever, I know it's probably because it was an enterprise account. We'd like to work on, I think, good government purposes to have that as part of all the capital plans with water and sewer, so I think we may be looking at, maybe a little change to the wording in our capital improvement bylaw, as far as including you guys, and so that we can kind of, look at what's going on for capital improvements and that, so. Does anybody have any questions? Greg, do you have any?
I have one.
No, I mean, I think your idea about making sure that we revise the CIP bylaw is a good idea and something I would support.
Any?
Is this going to come from the enterprise account, as far as funding goes?
We continue to include on it.
Great, thank you.
So I don't think at this point, we would be submitting any kind of a capital improvement article until the bylaw would be changed anyway. So you wouldn't need to do anything at this point with us, any further. So, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. And the next on the agenda would be Mr. Kamiani giving us an update on the sign. Everybody's got that in front of you, I hope.
So the sign, we have 23,000 and change. 23,678. We have an updated proposal listing out 3 different versions of the sign. It's technical, the idea that you have the size of the light, a larger light size doesn't make as nice a picture. If you have a very small light size, we could have the town administrator's face when it comes voting time, and he could be encouraging everybody to
Come on
participate at the town meeting. Reasonably, they had given some in-town similarities that a 16-millimeter sign is down the street and does a very good job with logos and simple graphics. There's a really nice sign located in Webster. It's a little smaller, but there's much more detail. I'm thinking we're going to get a good 15, 20 years out of this, so even in the email, they make mention of the technology between what the library has put in and what the library, and what a similar one would be today, and there's even a difference in that. So, 2-year-old sign, 3-year-old sign technology has gotten even better. So I'm thinking a few $1,000s more, we can get brilliance in front of here.
The first sign you got sitting, this is the one we kind of approved, right?
Correct.
It is,
The
yeah.
first one. And they'll still go with that. Will they still go with that, or has that been bumped up a little bit?
I think the minimum dollar amount is up by less than $1,000.
Okay. Personally, I like the banner on there because it matches the banner that was put up on 31,
Yep.
sorta, that Bailey Bowes and the Boy Scouts put up. So it kind of looks very similar to that, so kind of keeping in the same rhythm of that, but the sign looks tiny. That's a 38 by 76. Can you go 40? Can you use that banner on top with the base and just put a bigger sign? LED sign go like 40 by 88, like that.
Like the next one, which brings us up into another price range.
Right, but that's priced out with a different base and a different header,
Right.
so.
Right, that header is illuminated also, and
I agree. I think that looks sharp.
now a question, what size sign is in front of the library? What size?
Isn't that a 30, that's this one here, I believe, the 40 by 88.
That's 4088?
I believe it is.
Would be guessing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, I got an 83-inch TV at my house, and that looks just like it, so. I just judge
Yep.
on that. but-
I think we're comparing 38 by 76 versus 40 by 88. Okay, so it's a dollar bill wider,
Right.
2 inches, and
I don't know, I just think the bigger the better on the sign.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I mean,
I-
we're gonna have it there for a long, long time, so.
and I'm liking it. So
So what will we need to do?
we've already approved the sign.
What,
We just need to approve
an additional amount on the sign?
That's it.
an additional amount on the sign. I mean, reasonably, the committee could go through and say, good luck, come up with the other $1,000, we'll authorize it, but won't fund it. And the town clerk and treasurer collector would need to dig $500 out of their collective budgets and pay for it. Or we could go and get a little bit larger sign and fund it, or anything in between.
It's just how do you wanna put it together, that's all. And you can go up as much, they've got one here for $35,000. That's the with the base.
23,678 is already appropriated, so we're,
Right.
you know, it's $1,000 more up to, and fill in the blank. Another 11, give or take.
I mean, what do you guys like for the header and the base?
To be determined. I think the last page kind of summarizes everything in good detail.
Yep.
I had indicated to Rich, I like the 16 millimeter. The sign is at 24,272, and then the additional structure that the sign is built in, $9,868. So, no matter what, we need to have a base to put it in. We had enough money to have a sign, but it was set on 2 metal poles without a base. And so, what we really need, and I think, as I said, the technology in the year plus that we've waited has gotten better, so we can get more bang for the buck now. You know, certainly, I don't think that the 20 millimeter LED makes sense for us, as Rich has said. I think either the 16 or the 13, and the dollar difference between the two is relatively small, what, $1,000?
Yeah.
So what are we looking at for a total price?
34, was it 34 or 35? 35, $112.44.
And I also noted something in here, customer to provide electrical. So there's a couple of dollars there. I want to say we dug the trench and got things ready. We had an electrician work with us the last time. I don't think that'll be happening again.
No, unfortunately.
But for the most part, I mean, a lot of the grunt work was done by Dennis and his crew, you know, as far as trenching and things like that. You're figuring, to dig the trench is nothing, but you have to buy your wire, your conduit.
Right.
There's gotta be a couple
Was-
of junction boxes.
Was any of that priced in the first one?
No.
The first time, none of that was priced in
No,
the
it wasn't
first one.
priced out, just the cost of the sign.
So we kinda misjudged here.
Well, we also thought that we could take advantage of in-house labor, and things have changed a little bit, so.
So this may be, you know, if we go with the higher amount, this is gonna have to be something that we're gonna have to get up and explain. If somebody wants to just explain why
We
we're going.
can do it. I mean, my thought is to set aside of you know, we say $1,500 for the electrical work, I think is a reasonable rate.
Okay.
This cost also includes the install, correct?
They install it,
With exception to
uh,
what are the amenities we want to add?
uh,
Flower pot, something around it.
I think they install the base and everything else. I think we do the rudimentary site work to make sure it's a flat surface out there. But they want a live conduit going out there. You can't just drape the electrical cord across the lawn.
So basically, this price here, the 35,112, that's everything. We don't have to do anything.
You need your electrical.
Everything but the electrical,
Everything but the electrical. Right.
and add another 1,500 on top of that, and I think that's the number that we should be looking for.
Okay.
Are you sure it's only gonna be $1,500? Because
know-
it says provide permits, electrical supply, and connection, because you're gonna have to have your connection back to your computer system, right?
What did we approve originally?
My guess is gonna be a wireless connection to the computer. So, I don't think that they're gonna have to run a cable. And all it needs to do is reach Michelle's desk, and we'll be all set.
We're basically really looking for 37,
Yeah.
minus the 23.
Yeah.
So another 14,
So-
13.5.
So do we just do we go for the 37 in the article, or are we going for the difference?
It would be we have money to spend right now. It's just the difference of how far we
All
want
right,
to
so
take it.
if we're going with roughly 37,
Yep.
minus we got the 22.7,
Yep.
so we just need an article for the difference, for an upgrade.
Right.
Okay.
Motion for an
Does
additional.
anybody want to make that motion?
An additional, what, 13.5?
Yeah. 13, I would think so, right? 37?
13.5, 14, 13.5?
Let me get the numbers.
14.
Yeah, let's go to 14, just because,
The electrician is an unknown.
Well, you get,
Yeah.
you have, so this price less the 1,500 is what? So we're gonna add 1,500 to that, maybe a little bit more. So go to 37, right?
It comes to 37,178 if you just add the 13,500 to it, so.
it's 23,678.
That's what we need, basically.
Right. Mr. Landry will make the motion.
I'll make the motion. That difference of $14,300.
Second.
Any discussion on that? For the upgrade? Again, I'll ask Michelle how she's rating that. How was that one?
Well, Mark motion to appropriate an additional $14,300 for the upgrade on the LED sign,
Yep.
which was approved at town meeting last year.
Okay,
Yep.
that's good enough. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Okay, miscellaneous. Anything else? Any miscellaneous, anything anybody wants to bring up? Chief?
I know I talked to a couple of you in the parking lot, I know people were, ambulance was in a pretty severe crash last week. So, something that's gonna have to be replaced, no way we can go without an ambulance, we have one. They've already providing safety and a good service to the community. But as far as this board is concerned, I'm also losing revenue and not having that ambulance because we're busy enough where two ambulances in Warrenton where we have a lot of multiple calls on many days. Short term, I'm borrowing one of Webster EMS's trucks. But that's a very short-term solution, probably maybe a few weeks. So I understand when we get the insurance money back, that's probably gonna have to go to paying off the debt we don't want to remount already. So I don't know how we do it, but it needs to be replaced. There's gotta be some kind of emergency fund somewhere for something like this. But I just want to make you aware of it. I don't have any figures yet. Looking in the ballpark of around 210 to 220,000. I can have an ambulance by the second week of November, ready to go, because I've already been making phone calls to people. I'm making all the phone calls the day of the accident. Rich knows that because I talked to him maybe a dozen times that day and the days after that as well. So I'm just making you aware of it. I don't have a dollar figure to give you right now of what I'm gonna need, because it depends. You're gonna have to, like I said, you're gonna have to pay off the loan and then whatever's left. Like I said, I have looked at some cheaper models. So, but now they got the new state regulation with the new stretcher mounts. And the new types of stretcher you have to carry. I should be getting a little extra money for that, because that stretcher was destroyed in the accident as well. But, I mean, that mounting system and the stretcher is like almost 50 grand alone.
Do they sell the remounts already without having to give them anything, or do they sell a remounted ambulance? No, so it's either new or.
Now, I've kind of, I did save the town money, but now it's like a catch-22, because now I'm not gonna get full replacement value, so I don't wanna play that game. It's better off just to get a new ambulance, because in 2 or 3 years, I'm looking to replace the other one. You know, I'm trying to baby that one along, as I told you before, when we started. But now that it's running as a frontline truck, I wanna get a new one in place as quick as possible, so I can go back to backline and that
Right.
other one.
So you're looking probably around 210, you said?
210, 220.
210, 220. And what do we owe? We owe what, 106 on that other one? No idea what we're gonna get, huh, for insurance on
The
that?
adjuster just came Friday, I met with him, he's gone this week, he went on vacation, so I'll see him next week. I did call him and leave him a message today about the stretcher, because I don't think he assessed the stretcher, but I had the people come out that we bought the stretcher from, and they told me it can't be repaired. It's a paper mass, I banged out with a mallet and hit the roof.
All right, so what are we gonna do on this
But I
ambulance?
don't think you need to take a vote now, I mean, that's up to you guys, there's really
Wait,
nothing to vote on, I just need.
I think now's the time you have the discussion. I mean, don't kick the can down the street. The presumption is the town of Dudley operates with 2 ambulances. You can get by on one for a little bit of time, but we'd hate to be behind the 8 ball, knowing that you didn't have people going out on calls. Chief, you have the ability to buy one assembled? Or is there a, not a demo model, but I mean, is
Yeah, I was told.
stock? Stock, sure.
I looked into that, but I've also been told, like I said, I could have a fully assembled ambulance that meets our spec that has our name on the side of it by the second week. It's not, and the one I looked at is considerably less than what normally the ambulances go for this time. The thing that's driving the price up is that stretcher and stretcher mount.
But this,
There's no way around that, because that's the state regs now. But again, another unfunded mandate, but it's a safety issue, so, I mean, there's no really way around it.
I mean, we don't have any choice at this point. We're losing revenue as it is.
Right.
So, I mean, you're not gonna rebuild that ambulance.
I don't know, I doubt it, the frame is like bent,
Oh.
but I don't know what the box is, the box has a crack in it. I mean, you're welcome to go look at it, it's up to the solid set. Like I said, I don't see how they could possibly repair it, but I guess I'm not an insurance guy, so I don't know, but it took a huge hit from a big truck, so.
Well, if we're gonna need an ambulance. So, if it's 220, you're gonna have to get a new ambulance, no matter what. So, it's just a matter of what the numbers are gonna be, what you're gonna need.
I just don't know what, if I'll have the numbers by the time town meeting comes around, I don't know. I would think there's some emergency way to do it without town meeting, by the situation.
Oh, no, no,
No.
no, no. We have to have a town meeting, we have no choice.
But, okay.
Only town meeting can appropriate. We could spend insurance recovery proceeds up to a dollar amount, but we're greatly above that at this point.
The other thing I looked into, too, in talking to the sales rep, is a couple of different sales reps, is the lease to purchase.
Doesn't save us anything.
I mean, we're already,
I'm just throwing the option out there. I'm just letting you know that I've looked down a few different avenues, so if anybody had any questions or anything, at least I think it was good on a few different things.
Because we can vote right now to put this on the capital plan. We can borrow money for it, but you probably want to pay at least the interest, if not a 1/4 or 1/3 pay down in June. I mean, we can, you can sort of defer the payment, but if we go through and authorize at the end of October, I can probably have money in 6 weeks, something like that. So that's easily done. So as much as it would be ready in a short period of time, to take us a little bit longer to get the authorization, and then we go out and borrow the money.
I'm just saying, I don't know if the numbers will be ready for town meeting, we might have to have a special town meeting. I know at this point, you can't say until the insurance comes back.
my opinion is put it on the warrant to buy a
Put it-
new ambulance.
Buy a new ambulance.
And then we'll worry about the numbers as they come in to offset the cost.
Right.
That's all.
I think we can do that.
Does that make sense, Greg, or?
Yeah, I think a lot depends on the hinge on what we get from the insurance
Right,
recovery.
so, I mean, if it's 130 or what?
Whatever it is, we have to pay off the bonds that are out there, and
Go
then we
106
use
too?
whatever residual was left, plus an additional appropriation.
So it's 106, if they get 136, and you get another 30, we can put towards the ambulance and borrow the rest.
Yeah, like, you won't have to borrow one.
No, it's gonna be offset, but,
Obviously, some type of cost that you're gonna have to borrow.
right.
Actually, I think we make the authorization
Yeah.
for the separate vehicle. This is a similar ambulance that you could get in the middle of November.
It's almost the same exact chassis as what the remount's on.
And of course,
It's similar.
because it's brand new, it's all up to date, so it's got the ultra expensive system in it.
Actually, the brand I looked at had the switches, because like I said, I'm trying to save you a little bit of money.
No, but we wanted to, pardon?
Talking about the structure.
The stretcher,
Yeah,
right.
the 220 includes probably the stretcher.
Yes. I think he's gotta come back and assess that structure, because I don't think he did. He may have, but I.
But two separate things. Insurance recovery, no problem. You and I can go through what the appraiser went through and gave us for it. And you always get an opportunity with the insurance company to have them take a second look at things. If we
We
could,
didn't have the track mount system because of the remount, I fell in before July 1st, but now we're gonna need the track mount system when we place the ambulance, but the stretcher I got was one of those power stretchers that I would think they would give us replacement value for the stretcher, which is roughly like 33,000 for that
Okay.
stretcher. So I mean, they should give us that, because the stretcher wasn't even a year old.
Yep. So similar ambulances, all up to state requirements, the number is 220.
220. Best estimate at this point, 220.
220. I'd make a motion to buy a new ambulance for $220,000.
Up to?
I'd second.
Any discussion on that? The only thing I would need, Chief, is if you can get the pricing for us on that, so we can all have a copy of that. Any other discussion on it? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, is there any other miscellaneous items?
For the selectmen's meeting tonight, what do we need to do?
We've got,
We're gonna summarize exactly what you voted tonight.
Okay. And then,
And that'll be done, that's your votes, and that's your recommendations.
do you,
for town
are you
meeting.
gonna present to them what's going forward tonight, or, because I can't? Or do
I
you want
can.
me to get on the agenda?
I can,
okay.
because we have to do it 30 days prior to the town meeting to comply, so there's no issue with me presenting it this evening.
So we have the sign article, we have the dump truck and the plow truck,
Right.
and we have the ambulance.
You have
Yeah,
MIS.
and the computers.
Right.
MIS computers.
And then, of course, as I said, the ambulance is the big one.
And real quickly, doesn't look like, well, if we didn't borrow for the sign, you're figuring probably just using cash to pay for it, the balance. The trucks make no difference, the ambulance makes no difference. Maybe the MIS stuff, we pay cash,
Use it out of free cash.
out of free cash.
I would say free cash for the MIS and free cash for,
The difference in the
The
sign
sign.
and everything else is a
well,
borrowing
don't forget, we
article.
possibly have the police cruiser,
Police cruiser, correct.
so.
So maybe those three cash articles.
What do you have in free cash?
About 400,000?
Yeah,
Maybe.
but just organizationally, it sort of, I'd want to put on another article that made sure that we borrowed for the highway department pickup truck, the second highway department pickup truck. We borrowed money for an ambulance. As much as this board approves the expenditure of the funds, how we effectuate the purchase is a little different. I need an article number that, and the town clerk to say, on this time, we voted to borrow $65,000 to go through and purchase. And I'd get together with the water and sewer superintendent. If they just want to write a check for it, doesn't make a difference. But if they wanted to go through, later in there was a Mason Road upgrade of X amount of $1,000, they might not want to write a check for it, they might want to break it into 5 pieces or 10 pieces. So, that's the reason I verbalize it, so.
Okay. And the only other thought I had was, we're gonna work on language for water and sewer.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, any other business? All right.
Motion to adjourn, it's 6:29.
Second? Somebody want to second that?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.